Howdy, folks. Let me know if y'all can hear me or not. And or also, please let me know if the camera goes to crap, because nobody's on the panel. That never happens. That's a total joke. Figure we do a little change of pace and work on a pattern. Uh, so I'll wait till some folks creep on in here. So bear with me as I multitask. All right. I sent out the link to a few folks. Got no responses, or they haven't seen him, except for my brothers. But he's spending time with his wife. Hello, Larry and Pat. Hello, Chad Benton. Hope y'all had a great Easter as well. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hello, John Nave. A little bit of a change of pace. I mean, I've tried to do patterns in the past, but the camera kept going to crap. So if y'all don't mind, right there back there to you. If y'all don't mind, please let me know if the camera quality goes to hell. Yeah, I hear you, Josh. Hello, Josh. Yeah, I'm really hoping the camera will hold out because I really have no tabs open except for YouTube, Facebook, and here. So that, hopefully. And I tried to get the camera as close as I could right before I went live. One of the clamps holding the the camera in place, or the camera crane, fell off, scared the living crap out of me, and I said all kinds of dirty words. Hello, Mimi. Yeah, it's no lions or tigers this time, or leopards. Uh, is this is Are y'all able to hear me okay? And is the camera quality okay? Y'all please let me know that we can get started. I've already showed some of this progress on Facebook, uh, but not everybody that subscribed to me watches Facebook or is on Facebook, whatever the hell I mean. And I'll wait to get started, and when somebody lets me know if they can hear me well. Okay, all good here. I don't know if there's a bear in the woods or not. And I'll adjust the camera if I need to. Now, unfortunately, there is no way for me to highlight where I'm using the pen. Because somebody brought that up a long time ago when I was doing a pattern on a live stream, saying, is there any way you can show us where you've already drawn? And there's no way for me to do that unless I have glow in the dark ink or glow in the light ink. So it's really more about all of us just hanging out. And thank you, Josh and Mimi. It's more about hanging out and y'all seeing how I do it. Now, it is easy to say it's just a simple matter of tracing, but also there's decisions made as you go and this and that. And I have found when I do, some of the trees don't always have these obvious lights and darks and the shadows. So I have a magnifier light that I have to use every now and then to see where the pen has been, because obviously I'm up against dark areas. And that magnifier light is right here. But I'll try to keep it out of y'all's way if I need it. That'll help y'all see closer. Anyway, move that out of the way for now. And if I need it, we'll use it. And let me try to get this better in camera. You too, Larry, and happy Easter. Hello, Ian. Ian is a pattern designer as well. Hopefully one of my usual panel members will get on in here. Although I am right here at the computer and can see the the comments and crap. Give you an idea what I'm seeing. This is what the hangout looks like, and there's y'all. And I'm also seeing the camera off to the left, what y'all are seeing. Anyway, That's the best way. I tried to use a tripod to hang the camera up, but it couldn't get it close enough, and it's an old piece of crap. Tripod. You said hi. Oh, I thought you said hi, Jan. I was looking for a Jan. That's an Ian. Alrighty then. Ian, I believe, is overseas. Larry is in Mississippi. Josh is in Northwest Illinois. Mimi Lord is, I don't remember. I don't know where Pat lives. But anyway, I don't know why I'm telling everybody all that. But please do not hold back if you have any questions. There aren't any stupid questions. Hello, Barry. Long time no see. Now, see, I suck at using computers when it comes to patterns. So that's why I do mine on paper, and it's easy to say, and I know I touched on this earlier, it's easy to say, well, hell, you're just tracing. And yes, I am. But it's getting used to knowing what to trace and what works when you trace, blah, blah, blah. It helps to know what makes a scroll saw pattern work. Now, if you don't follow me on Facebook, I love detail, and the theme, Mimi, is what made me think to make this one. I'm supposed to read comments out loud, and I forgot. She asked, what made you want to make this one? It's because I love detail. The trees are always scary and a pain in the butt to do, but I like cabins, and the trees are in the background. I could do a version without the trees in the background, but for now, I'm at least doing it. I got gory scabs and crap in front of y'all. Sorry about that. When I work on patterns, if it's a large enough picture and detailed enough, I will separate it into more than one sheet of paper. This one started out at 6 sheets, and I decided I wanted a little more. Actually, I could share screens and show y'all what I'm talking about. And we're sharing screens. This is the source photo. It was originally a little bigger than that. And I originally had it cut off right here just to have the cabin in there, but that looks like some kind of smokehouse back there because it has a big opening, or it could just be storage. I have no earthly clue. But I decided I wanted to include that in there, so I decided that later, so it's obviously not going to be a full sheet of paper width. But this area is. This is where we're about to start working, is in here. This is what I've gotten done so far, and the reason why I'm not zooming in on that is so people can't steal the design. Not that most of y'all would. It does happen, but yeah. And it's hard to make the trees. It's hard to make the trees look like trees, but it's. Some people ask, how do you do the trees? Well, you're basically just like any other thing. You're tracing the dark colors and the shadows. And I just saw an area that somehow didn't get colored in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is the only computer part I do, is to clean up lines and to color in for people to figure out what a pattern is going to look like. So if you ever see me working on a computer, that's the only part I'm doing, is coloring in and cleaning up and checking for weak areas. So there's that. And whenever I'm sharing screens, I'm not able to see the screen where y'all are, so bear with me. Now, some changes I made in this is I decided not to add the handrails here, and the posts are made out of 2x4s, as are the handrails, and I didn't like that look, so I'm going to try to make the posts look a little more rustic. We like rustic around here anyway, but I also don't like the handrails. I guess I could add handrails, I just don't want them to look like 2x4s, because you could tell that was done later and not near as old as the rest of the place. But when it comes to trees, the closest you can get to the way it looks, the better. But here you can see sky through there, but on a scroll saw pattern, you can't tell that there's sky through there, except, or maybe if you do the wavy lines like that. But it's almost impossible to tell that there's sky back there. So it's always going to look like you have a dark sky if the sky is showing at all. But let me get back over there, stop sharing. And The outhouse is somewhere. I don't know. Chad Benton says, Charles, that's called years of experience knowing what to trace. Thank you, Chad. Josh Grover says, where's the outhouse? And that's, thank you, Ian. Where's the outhouse? It's in the trees somewhere, I reckon. Yeah, it's out back, Chad. Thank you. Hole in the back wall of the woodshed. Yeah, that works. By God, hell, when you live out like that, you can be pretty much anywhere you want. So there's that. I know I haven't started yet, but I will. But just know that once I start, you won't be able to see where I've traced because I don't have this bright glowing neon ink. And so there's that. I'm going to start on the cabin, obviously. And this, you can tell the camera kind of skewed it a little bit. The posts kind of do this. And that could be a rustic old cabin, but it also did it on an area of the back of the cabin that I was working on. And the reason, this is the area I'm working on, by the way, and I still got to move the camera, is this area right here. And there's a clean sheet of paper and a sheet of carbon paper on top of it with the picture printed out over it. But these other, hello JJ, what these other pieces of paper are is to let me know what's on either side of where I'm working. I've already done this side, and I can unfold it. I've already done this one, but it lets me know where to continue lines that I've already drawn. If I can see them well enough right this second, I can. So I have to get in real close because this is already dark. And as you can see here, the front of this cabin is pretty darn dark, so I kind of halfway made it up as I went. Now, an easy way to do that would just make them completely cut out, but I don't like simple. Yeah. So there's that. So I have both things on either side of it printed out and taped to it, and we have not done this area yet. And if y'all want me to, at any point during here, to go back to the pattern we're working on, or on the digital side, show you on the computer, I can do that, and I'll do it real quick again. Just remember, we haven't done this area yet, and this area we've already done, so I'm going to show you all that again. This is the sheet of paper I just showed y'all to the right side of what we're about to be working on, and up here is the other sheet of paper, which would be right here, and we're going to be working on what's right here. And then we got two little partial pieces. Let me find those. See, they're not going to be full sheets. Wait, I'm not. I'm still sharing screens. These are the other parts on the far right. So they're going to be like this. You know, the rest of that little smokehouse looking thing. So there's that. So those won't, so that's why I called it almost 8 sheets of paper, but it will be full 6 sheets plus what you call it, freaking those 2 pieces there. And I will get started here in a second. I do use a straight edge occasionally if there's a straight edge, but I want these posts here to look rustic and not as 2x4s. So I don't really need a straight edge necessarily. Now the picture was actually slightly bigger than this. It just had a lot of blank grass out here, so I cropped it to the bottom of the porch here. So thank you, Chad. Oh, all right. I gotta get my drink nearby and get my cigarettes nearby, and then by God, we're gonna get started. Please do not hold back if you have any questions, because that's how we learn. Unless you're me, I don't learn very easily. It sounds like I'm dogging myself, but I do have trouble learning. That's why I do mine on paper, because I cannot learn those dag blebbit programs. And again, as we're going, please let me know whether or not the camera quality goes to crap or you have trouble hearing me. And I'm trying to move crap out of my way here. At some point, I'm going to need my magnifier light, because whenever I'm by myself, I'm right up. You're going to see my head in here in a second. I'm right up on this stuff when it's dark. Not when it's dark in the room, but this area is dark, and I want to see where I left off on this piece of paper. As you can see, under that is a piece of tape holding the other side of this this sheet. So I don't see right where those are, but also when I go to, I will show you the computer portion if y'all hang out long enough of this sheet we're working on. But they don't always line up perfectly because it's hard to, I could use the area that I've already done, which I guess I could, no, that's not the one I just did. But when you get done tracing it onto paper with carbon paper, it'll look like this. This is the roof and chimney upper half that we just got done. Hello, Jason Richelieu. So that's what they look like, and then I scan that in, and then the program I use to clean it up, making sure lines are connected if I didn't draw them correctly, and for coloring it in is called Paint Shop Pro 4. They don't even make it anymore. I just keep pulling it from one computer to another. So there's that, and I'll show you the carbon paper I use, and it's the darkest I've found. That's why I like using it. I don't like the ones that look like light pencil lines. I get it off of Amazon. I'm trying to get the reflection off there, but it's from a company, if I can get it on camera, CREcrafts.com. You can get it directly from the website. It's mainly sewing type stuff, but you can look up CRE, I think, crafts on Amazon. I buy it from Amazon, but you can get it directly from CREcrafts.com. It's the darkest I've found, and they are huge sheets. I cut them down, and I buy as much of these as I can afford at the time. I think I have 3 or 4 sitting over there because I go through a lot of carbon paper. So I cut them down into page size sheets like this, and that's the drawing side, and that's how black the other side is, and that's why I love it. I don't want that light gray crap. Anyway, so there's that. Happy Easter. Of course, I said that yesterday, but I don't want to steal your thunder now. I'm definitely going to have to use my light on some of this. And I'm trying to move crap without shaking the camera crane. Seems like no matter what live stream I do, I shake the camera crane. Okay, let me get my light situated and try to do that without being in y'all's way. We got all kinds of bumping going on here. Okay, now not everything's going to be right side up to me or y'all. I mean, I'm looking at it like this. Y'all are looking at it like this, so we're all kind of not getting it straight on. But I have to be able to see the ink lines that I started over here. Well, it'll be more right side up to y'all than it will me. Now I got to move my light. I apologize for any glares y'all might get. In order for me to do this, I got to be able to see it. I really wish one of my panel members would get in here so I had somebody to read comments while I'm looking down. But they don't love me. That's a joke. I know why we haven't started yet. I have taken a drink of Dr. Pepper. You believe that? No matter where I'm at, we got that Dr. Pepper. Just saying. It's been a long time since we did a pattern live stream. I guess per tradition, it's coming up on 18, 19 minutes before I get started, but there's a lot of explaining, and I do a lot of that. What you're seeing right now is exactly what I do, besides the stalling. Is exactly what I do on my downloadable instructional how to make your own pattern videos on woodandvisions.com. Because every decision I make or everything I'm doing, I'll explain, except for what's obvious. And if I change my mind in real time, you'll hear that. That's exactly what happens on those videos. The only difference is I didn't do those live. All right. We have partaken, I think that's a word, partaken in a swig of Dr. Pepper, and we're ready to get going. Again, I'm leaving out the handrails. Now, I'm going to go ahead and trace these as is far as the angle of them, but I'm going to hopefully make them look more round, but I'm not real sure how I can do that. The only way you can really do that is to have a shadow on one side, but most of the shadow is from above. That's why this is dark and that's light, besides erosion and mold. Um, but if I don't like the look of those being squeezed in like that, then I can always change that when I do the computer part. Josh Grover says, what am I doing wrong? When I trace something over carbon paper, my hand rubs over the pattern picture of carbon paper, it blurred out in the results, if that makes sense. If you mean smearing the carbon, okay, are you talking about rubbing across something you've already traced out? Because if I smeared hard enough, I could probably smear that too. But let's try that. No, I guess it's just quality. Because some carbon paper is really sensitive. So that might be what you're going through. That or the carbon just doesn't stick to the paper real good. The stuff like this you see is my trying to get my pen to work, but but that I did that on the paper. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, occasionally I do get little marks, especially if I drop my pen or do something a little too rough on the paper there. I'm trying to determine as I sit here where I want to start, and that's an example of me saying everything I'm thinking. I know I've already stalled, but I feel obligated to start where the boards are, continuing on to the other one. So let's do that. And I'm trying to see the ink lines, and I'm having trouble doing that. And I also got to figure out what was cut out and what was not. I'm going to start out in this area. And I'm not going to draw it just as you see it because I don't want the boards to be that dark. I just want them to look like rustic wood. And that's why I'm looking at my ink lines and not the picture itself, because I can see the picture. I'm going to somewhat go off of what's there, just to make it look rustic. But I know there's going to be a post there, so I stop the drawing there and then I go up against the post. And that's an example of an area that'll be cut out. And I don't know how well y'all can see that because I have a small screen. Or the StreamYard screen is pretty small. But yeah, a lot of this is going to be dark. I just didn't want it completely as dark as it was. I want it to look like rustic boards. That's why, I don't know how well you can see over here, but there's only a thin white line there, but I made a jagged line just to look like weathered wood. And we can make this whole one cut out if we want to, because the front of this cabin is in shadow. And I'm just making it up as I go as far as any detail I want to add to these. And I should be using a straight edge up against these posts, and I know we like to joke about how if it's not a straight line, it's rustic, but it is rustic, and I can always fix it in the Paint Shop Pro. So I'm looking here to see what I've already done. Now that looks to be and I'll keep repeating myself. I'm making a lot of this up as I go because I'm not going off of the detail I see on this particular part. So this, I went backwards. And I rarely do that. That's what's funny. I was treating it like I had already, because this part's meant to be cut out. I was treating it like that part was meant to be cut out. So I made a mistake. My God. We got 15 people watching. Please don't hold back if you have any comments or questions. So I'll have to edit that in the, if I ever make a mistake sometimes on the paper, I won't do it on the actual pattern, but I'll put a star with a line pointing to where I messed up. But here I'll remember that when I go to color it in. And I think I did the same thing over here with the wrong area. Yeah, because that could have been higher. Not to cut out. So we'll go like that. And I need to remember that this part is colored. So I'm just going to add little wood grain lines. And this can all be fiddled with later if I don't like the way it looks. Out of the whole piece, this is my least favorite part, is the front face of the building, because you can't, that's not the first time I've made a mistake. But out of the whole design, that's my least favorite part, because it's, it looks crappy as is, and it wouldn't translate real well, because if you just went with the light part, you would hardly see anything there. All right. Let's see if I can continue this correctly now. This is a cutout. We can almost trace this one as is. But we want to have some kind of stability, so it's thicker lines. And forgive me if I miss any comments or questions, because I am having to look down to do this. And there's one board. Some of this will make sense once we do the coloring in part. I'm just looking forward to getting done with this part, because I don't like this front face. So a lot of this will be cut out, but I just want it to look like there's boards in there. And I'm not really even accenting the width of the boards. I'm just, the direction is all I'm really concentrating on. And per the usual, forgive my snipping. I have freaking allergies. And we're going to ignore that handrail, so I'm going to draw right through it, which is not a whole lot to do, because it's pretty dark down there anyway. You left kind of early, Chad, but I appreciate you being here. Ian Thorley says, Master at work, I use a tablet on the computer, and I think this will be easier, as the hand-eye coordination just sitting there. Nothing like this detail, though. Thank you, Ian. I can draw better with a pen than I can a mouse or a digital pen, because I like to see the line left behind as I'm done. And thank you for dropping by, Chad. Can't really see what I did there on the last half. I got to remember there's an extra 2x4 there, so I want to go a little further. And we're almost done with the pain in the butt part. Yes, I keep the paper copy. If I didn't have so many clamps that would fall off, I'd show you. I have a stack about this thick of sheets of paper like this. This is what I just took out of the scanner. But yeah, I keep the paper copies in case I lose the pattern and I have to actually re-clean it up and color it in to find it again, because there are times I lose patterns because of computer crashes and not backing them up. Good intentions going to hell. I don't need to do a whole lot of explaining about what I'm doing right now, because I've already said it 20 times, but if anybody asks, I'll repeat myself. But after I get done with this, I'll go back to explaining everything I'm doing, making sure I'm continuing from this panel to that one so it looks lined up. And hopefully I'm doing that right. I can't really see it. Very dark in there. Okay, what is that? It is light. Yeah, I'm probably going to do a lot of editing when it comes to this part on the computer because it's so dang hard to see. And this may be less exciting to you all than watching me scroll. I don't know. But every now and then, people don't always get to see this part. So hopefully it appeals to somebody. There's a whole lot of confusion going on in the front of this dang cabin. So it's really messing with me. So I'm going to have to do a lot of editing. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. I'm getting lazy. That way I can just get done with this part and move on. Some of this I'm actually tracing what I see, but slightly thicker. So it doesn't fall apart. That's why if you zoom in on a lot of my pictures, it's because I didn't use a straight edge on a straight line, like, some of these lines down here, then that's why it doesn't look consistently wide. But, well, I do have 14 ebooks, Mimi, and those don't sell very well. There's about 6 patterns per book. But also selling them individually, I can make more. And sadly, that's an issue with me. I need the money. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, we're done with this area. And I'm going to turn it around where I can see it better to do the porch wood lines going this direction too. You don't have to just draw a bunch of lines, otherwise you have a whole bunch of floaters, so it kind of suggests the cracks between them. And I got this piece going under the monitors with a bunch of wires, so I'm trying to keep that from getting wrinkled all the heck. Let me know if the glare gets too bad. I'll move the lamp. The glare being that right there. I see it more on camera than I do on the paper. But as far as publishing a book, no, I can't afford that. I had one published once, but it didn't do very well through Fox Chapel. And so there's that. Right now I'm just concentrating on the porch lines, and then I'll go from there. And I'm making up some of this detail because the porch lines don't show very well. Now, some of these, the single line cut, it looks like that, but it's opened up back here, so that's where you would put the pilot hole. I'm just continuing from the sheet I've already done. Every now and then I gotta press this down, make sure I line it up right, but it doesn't always work right, so that's when I fix it in Paint Shop Pro. We don't need to go ape crap with detail here because it is just porch lines. And ape crap is me trying not to cuss. I'm doing the lines first, and then I'll go back and mess with the poles. Now, these areas you can see where the pen line is going, but not in the dark areas. Hello, Shelley. Some of these are mold, but they look like they could be weird shadows, and it just doesn't look right in certain areas. But oh well. We don't have to add a whole lot of detail here on the porch. Now those individual board lines will be harder to see because that end of the porch is further away than here, but I still feel the need to suggest them, even just for that rustic look. Now, because those posts are going in front of there, occasionally I will go in and add a straight line to show the edge of the post. But you want to make sure you don't have any floaters when you do that, so you don't want to just draw a straight line all the way up. So I'm only doing pieces of them to suggest the edges of the post. Now I'm going with this edge here on the post because there's another 2x4 butted up part of the handrail, so I'm ignoring that edge. Whoops, I used it and I just said I was ignoring it. Go figure. Little stuff like that I'll fix in the computer part. And for anybody just joining, I'm deciding not to use the handrails. I don't like the look of them. So I'm focused on what's behind it when it comes to the detail. Now, although I don't know how well it shows up on camera, although this board right here is dark, I'm going to treat it like it's somewhat light because I can somewhat see it. I don't know how well it shows up to y'all. Now I could do this with a straight edge, but it's rustic, so I'm not real worried about it. And when I can tell what something is, even if I can't see it clearly, I just draw it as if it was there, like the little rafters underneath the roof. I guess that's where having a history of drawing helps a little bit, but not a whole lot. I used to draw all the time. I'm treating this board as if it was light, and I'm just adding wood grain to it. And then when we do all the tree craft, it'll stand out a little bit, maybe. Whoops. I went into the post a little bit, but oh well. Worst problems to have. It'll be more rustic when I cut it. Then again, we don't have a whole lot of straight lines either, so that helps. Straight lines are a bugger, which I don't need to tell you scrollers. And I can be kind of sloppy here because I can always fix it in the computer portion. But I ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time fixing it because it is rustic. And I know I keep using that word, but it is, on rustic stuff, you can get away with sloppy lines. About the only straight lines on this whole piece are the window that was over here. That window is about the only area that I use straight lines and used a ruler. And there's not really a way for me to make these posts look rustic because they're not wide enough to really add much to it. Plus, where the detail on the trees comes up against that post, each post, it'll make the post stand out more. Uh, it's hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it much better. But I'm determining whether or not to add some post detail, which I could also do that in Paint Shop Pro. And when I talk about Paint Shop Pro, I'm not suggesting, hey, go out and get that program, because number one, I use number 4, and they don't even make that anymore. I think they're up to 12 or higher now. Paint Shop Pro, you can use pretty much any graphics program if you so choose, but I only use the graphics programs for making sure the lines I drew are connected where they're supposed to be, so I can color them in. Because if you don't connect those lines and you go to color them in, it'll turn the whole thing dark. And I'll explain that when I do the computer portion. We're going to be here a while, but I'm not going to do all the sheets of paper and then do the computer part. I do a whole sheet like this, not that, but this. When I'm done with this, then I'll show you the computer part, because I don't want you to have to wait through many hours. Other than the talking I'm doing, this is how long it takes to do each sheet of paper. So there's that. But I don't usually talk that much. But I also don't feel the need to rush because nobody's asking for it. And now I'm just picking a random spot to start doing the tree detail behind everything. And I still got to do the roof and this over here, but I just figured since I'm sitting right here. And I feel like I'm glaring a little too much. Let me move that out of the way. I don't know, y'all let me know if it shows up to y'all. It's actually in my way a little bit. No, I need the light. Dagnabbit. It's fun being blind. Shaylee just started doing patterns too, but I believe she does hers in Paint Shop Pro. I don't know, because she hadn't told me her secrets. And I don't always trace the leaves and crap right as you see them. Sometimes I just go off of that shape and then kind of do my own thing, because with clusters of leaves, you can get away with being really sloppy. Really, the only thing on any of this is to avoid floaters. And you'll find that in the computer portion, if you do have any. I may actually have to start using the magnifier portion, because I want to be able to see where I've already traced, and I don't want to have to do that. I'm going to see if I can do this without getting it in y'all's way. Yeah, now I'm much closer, much better. I'm getting old, so I have to use the magnifier light for this part. And again, this will help suggest the edges of the post. So that's what I'm focused on right now, besides the little bitty details. And again, I'm not tracing it as I see it necessarily. I'm just going with the basic shape of everything. But I do pay attention when I see something like a branch sticking through, because that makes it look more like trees. So I do try to get as close as I can to a photograph when I'm making a pattern, but tree detail, they're not going to say, hey, that cluster of leaves looks different, so I don't always go line for line. Now, I should use a straight edge here, but I'm a rebel, so I'm just going to go straight down. And I just remembered I told y'all I was going to ignore the handrails. That's why I stopped there. And there's an extra 2x4 there, so I'm ignoring that. I'm going to go all the way down here, so there's going to be a big cutout area over here. I should be doing this with a straight edge, even though it's a rustic post, but I'm not. Y'all are awful quiet out there. Making this a little bushier than it is in the picture, because I can see darker leaf clusters in there. And some of these branches, I'm exaggerating the thickness of them so they are stable. Y'all think everything I do is brittle. I try to add some kind of stability. Come on now. If anybody's still watching, let me know if the camera goes to crap so I can reboot it. See, that branch just kind of stops in the middle of nowhere, at least visually. Hopefully y'all can see the lines I'm drawing. I have no idea. Shaylee's actually working on a pattern now. Just saying. And the more I look at this source photo, pretty sure another designer used the same source photo. It wasn't my intention to copy him. It's just I love the picture, so here we are. But he did a kind of a cropped version. But no respectable designer sets out to copy another one. I mean, me and Russ Beard inspire each other a lot. And I don't mean to speak for him, but we tend to both work on cats at the same time. And I think one of us sees a pattern going on. We'll change themes for a little bit, and it's kind of funny. I flat out wrote to him one day. I told him, just so you know, I'm about to start on some leopards, because he was doing a bunch of leopards. So there's that. Hello, Steve Nealon, Arnell Media, and Chris Nealon. The Nealons have shown up, and Ian says the cameras are doing great. Good deal. And again, I'm not going right down to the detail, tracing every little thing I see, because we'd be here for 20 years. Almost as long as when I'm cutting a project. Come on, that's funny. And some details I'm adding just to suggest more of the edge of those posts. And y'all may hear me repeat things that I've already said so far in this live stream, because I don't know when new people come in all the time. So I'm making sure people know what the hell I'm doing. There's not a whole lot more detail in this area. And sometimes if I can't see the lines real good that I've already done, then some things will get crowded and create little floaters, but I fix that in the Paint Shop Pro part. And there is no set shape to any of this, unless you're tracing exactly what you see, but usually I'm just kind of suggesting that there's a shadow in there. So, okay, a little more. Y'all let me know if my head gets in the way, but unless I get up over the magnifying glass, I think we'll be okay. Now I'm going to move over to this one. No, I'm not. See, that's me changing my mind in real time. I haven't done. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm ignoring the handrails. I don't like the look of them. So I'm going to treat it as if those handrails aren't even there. So there's a lot of black area in here until you get down to here. And I'm going to go ahead and use a straight edge for this one just to say I did. And after I bump the camera crane like I always do. Now this will make it look less rustic, but dagnabbit. And I'm eyeballing where the edge of the porch is, so I don't go too far. And that means this line over here was too far over. Whoops. And I forgot I was doing that area, so I shouldn't have drawn these two lines. But see, I can edit that in whatchamacallit, Paint Shop Pro, just saying. I can fix that. So, now we're just going to do a random cluster of leaves over here. Again, I'm not completely concentrating on the shape of it, just a general idea of it. Adding a little bit of detail in there, so we look like we got shadows. Without trying to sound like an artsy-fartsy dude, shadows create the depth and dimension. And every now and then, if I draw a line I don't want there, I'll put little tick marks through it to remind myself that that line's not supposed to be there. Just like the star example I gave you earlier. All right. I'm not going to forget on this one. I say that now, but watch me forget. Now, if I drew that roof the way it looks, there'd be all kinds of floaters. So I have to kind of halfway leave out detail and make up other detail. And I'm putting the straight edge at the edge of the post. This edge, not down there, because there's a 2x4 sticking out. That way I can be a little quicker and sloppier without drawing into the edge of the post. Alrighty then. And yes, this is one of those projects that if I ever cut it, I'll hate myself while I'm doing it. But it's that sense of pride when you're done, because it's fun as hell making the patterns. Aquí estaría todo. I'm totally making up some of this detail, as I keep saying, but I am just suggesting openings and shadows. Sometimes I get lazy and I'll combine a whole bunch of shadows, which for the average designer, that's not really lazy. It's saving time and less cuts. So there's that. And we go ahead and work in the area that has post up against it. And please don't hold back if you have any questions. I'm trying to cover everything I'm doing here, but I do forget things. And I do need y'all to know in those instructional videos of how to make patterns, I'm not teaching the computer portion, I'm just showing it. So I'm teaching this part on those videos. Because I had one person wanted his money back because he wanted to know how to do the computer part. I never claimed to be teaching that part. Because I don't do computer stuff very well. Well, I hate you too, Chris, because I want a chocolate bunny. Just kidding. I don't actually hate you. Again, we're ignoring the handrail here, so I'm treating it as if it's not there. And that's another example of where I used the wrong edge. So you'll wonder, what the hell, why he just went right through that handrail? Well, that's because I don't want the damn handrail. Just saying. I'm just treating it as if that handrail's not even there. And we're not going to forget about this cluster of leaves. I'm totally making up what's behind it. And I'm not going off that 2x4, I'm going off the edge of this one. Because the way these handrails were made, they just did a, three-sided square to make the handrails 2x4, 2x4, 2x4. And the posts are 2x4s, so I'm ignoring the ones that are butted up against the main post. And I'm just going to throw in some random shadow leaf detail. Here's done. Now I gotta do up in here. It's gonna be funner than hell. Arnell Media says, I would say, imagine how fast you could design if you did it into the computer, but I know you too well for that. Well, besides the fact that I do things the hard way, I don't do well on computers. I can draw better with an ink pen than I can a digital pen, because on a digital pen, you're still drawing in one area and looking at another. You know, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know. It's so hard to explain. I'm not saying I know much about digital pens, but I know, yeah. But just like when I go to trace pieces onto the wood, when I'm going to scroll them, it's kind of therapeutic. I'm usually listening to music or watching a bunch of movies while I'm doing all this. Steve says that's what he's saying. By the way, Harnell Media is my website designer. You want a website, you want it done affordably and good communication, and not just a 9-to-5er. Go on to harnellmedia.com, tell them I told you about it. It won't help you none. But at least he'll know, because he's not sitting right there watching me. I'm a goober. Oh well, I like to be a goober. Sometimes I'll do a bunch of detail in an area, and I'll see an area that just for some reason looks blank to me, and then I'll actually copy and paste from somewhere else in the whole pattern and just slap it in there. I'm having trouble seeing where I've already been, so that could end up happening again. And some detail I'm just flat out adding because I don't want that area to look blank. And I'll say it like I did 50 times. There doesn't have to be a specific shape to it, because it's just random leaf shadows. And hello, Tim. T.O. Turney. And for those that don't know, Steve Nealon has made some patterns. I believe it's called makerpatterns.com, but I am a terrible friend, so I don't remember. Him and Eloy Escojedo, I believe, are the only contributors. I could be wrong. I'm just doing a quick check. And it's because these are leaves that I'm being that I'm rushing so much and being sloppy. But I am still somewhat going off of what they look like, just not completely. Again, we're ignoring the handrail. Yeah, makerpatterns.com. I was right once. Yay. Okay, so as far as I can tell, we're done in this area too. If I don't like anything, I can change it in the computer part. Oh, okay, I did not know that, Steve. So it's not just, you can name those other designers if you want to. There's Steve Neal and Eloy Escojedo, the two I know about on makerpatterns.com. And I'm going to take a drink of my Dr. Pepper and we'll get back to it. We've done the front of this here, and we've done these two squares here, or rectangles, because of the trees back behind it. And after I get done with the roof, we're going to have to move into the trees whether we like it or not. But we can go relatively fast because there's a lot of open area down here. Well, y'all can't see because I'm out of frame. A lot of open area down here, but we're going to suggest some tree trunks because you can see one right there, if I can point correctly, up there. Sterling Davis. I didn't know Sterling Davis ever designed any. Actually, still St. Patrick's workshop. Oh, so they're not all scroll saw patterns. Some of them are just flat out plans. Well, why don't I? Oh, can't do that. I can't copy and paste unless I go to the YouTube watch page. Aha! Open link in new tab, and we'll share screens, and I'll show it to y'all. All right, because why not help promote each other? You know what I mean? Scroll saw and CNC patterns. Okay, I'm going to share screens, and we can look at makerpatterns.com. This is not my website. This is a bunch of different makers, and I'm not able to see the comments and questions right now, but I don't know who each designer is, but I'm sure as we go through it, if you look in the chat, quite sure Steve Nealon can tell you if anybody has. But these look to be pretty darn detailed. I'm curious to know which ones are Sterling Davis. I didn't even know he designed any. And as y'all can see, they're pretty affordable. Trying to go somewhat slow. We don't have to show every single one, and that's not me trying to be rude. It's just, I know some people are here to see the pattern being made. And there seems to be a comment section as well. Pattern by Sterling Davis. And that would be that one. Cool. And that one says 0. Maybe it's a free one. I don't know if Steve Nealon can tell you all out in the chat. And I am a bad friend. I have not been keeping up with. Okay, there's the collections right there in the table of contents. So we got a tank. North Carolina. That's where Sterling lives. Moonshine, that's a shocker. Doing word in word. See, you got a good little variety here. Let's go through each designer. There's a few. I don't want to go through absolutely everything because we want to get back to the thing, but these look to be CNC related. That's patricksworkshop.com if you want to check him out. Ashley Stilson. Okay, so yeah, when they mention SVG and V-Carve, that's CNC type stuff, and that's a scroll saw pattern. Layered, pretty cool. I know Steve Nealon has done some layered stuff. Multi-layer patterns. I've only seen one that he did, this one right here. That's just pretty nifty right there. So hopefully y'all are seeing what I'm seeing. And I borrowed that picture a long time ago. I was going to make a scroll saw pattern out of it. Never got around to it. Because I do that. But we're going to get back on to the, whatchamacallit. Yeah, there's a bunch of free ones. Okay. Okay, yeah, you're commenting on everything I was telling myself the whole time. So, y'all check out the makerscrollsawpatterns.com. Or wait, was it Maker Patterns? Yeah, makerpatterns.com. I almost X out of the live stream, trying to X out of that. Okay, we're going to get back over to the live stream. If y'all have any comments or questions for anybody out in the chat or me, y'all let us know. All right, so you can't promote other people too much. That was my way of saying there's nothing wrong with promoting each other. It's not possible to promote them too much, because if you're that insecure about losing sales, and I know how to lose me some sales, just saying. And that's me using a straight edge for the top of the porch. And I just saw another area that I needed to do over here, I think. Oh well, you're lucky. Okay, where do we want to go next? We should probably, slap some of this out. And we're going to do the roof and then the trees over here. Y'all let me know if you have trouble seeing or if the camera goes to crap and stuff like that. And we don't need a straight edge anymore. According to some rumor starters, Josh, I already have. Some people are idiots. Okay, I don't need the magnifier light for this, so I can move it out of my way. But why not bump the microphone? Okay, I'm going to work on the front of the porch. And again, this right here is where we've already done. This is another sheet of paper. It's just up against this in case I needed it. But I'm not real worried about continuing any other lines except for this ratty looking shadow line under the boards on the porch. And I'm being real sloppy here because it doesn't need to be straight because it's rusty. The only line I'm concentrating on here is where I left off on the last one, so it's less editing I got to do later. And I'm just not even tracing at all. I'm just doing a general sloppy line to suggest shadow and mold. But I don't want to go all too bad crappy because it's just the shadow mainly under the porch. And this is the even bigger shadow where the board, and then it goes up under the porch. There's little things holding them there, so I'm gonna be mindful of those. Things is the official name for those. Totally kidding. And when I do grass detail, I don't go ape crap on that either. I can screen share in a little bit and show you. I just did little suggestions of grass, but I didn't want it to be too blank either. Some places here it looks like they just stuck a rock under to level the porch. That's doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna ignore whatever this is. I don't know if it's a stump or a rock or whatever, but I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm not going for specific detail on the ground. I'm just gonna suggest grass every now and then, but it's a small enough area we don't have to do a whole lot of nothing. Now, I'm gonna go off the suggestion of the contour, so I can kind of keep the consistency of the shape of the ground, if that makes any sense. Words aren't always my friend. Yeah, they probably did use a rock. That looks like a 2x4, that looks like a rock, and that looks like a rock. That's just me then. To me, as far as rustic goes, if they had used like skinny trees for these posts, it would have looked cooler. But these look like they were done much later. And it doesn't look that good to me. That's the beauty of making your own scroll saw patterns is you don't like something, leave it out. That's why we left out the handrails. But let's say I had added those handrails. If you find a scroll saw pattern that you don't like every aspect of it, you can leave some of it out or add something to it, by God. And I'm not going to do much of nothing that I'm aware of. And Harnell Media says, part of my house is sitting on cut telephone post. That's cool. Well, I'm guessing that's for leveling. Okay, I'm totally just going to make up a bunch of detail here. Yeah, I figured that's why they did that, but I don't know. It just to me it looks out of place. But it's a rustic old cabin. Don't make a nut. What I meant to say is it don't mean nothing. I tried to say 4 things at once. But anyway, I'm just totally making scribble crap out here, kind of suggesting grass, but I'm not doing much detail at all, so I'm not even going to talk about it much. I'm just jumping around. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. Not going to do much at all. Again, I'm going off the contour here, not necessarily the shape. The ground is kind of boring. Now, again, if you're wanting to be consistent with sticking to the way the photograph looks, then yeah, take the time. But ain't no way in hell I'm tracing all that grass. Yeah. And this is the far left edge of the completed pattern, so I'm not worried about what's over here. But you can have stuff that goes off the edge as if it would be continued. Maybe we'll do this piece 8 feet wide someday. Hell no. Sorry. We do have 12 people watching. If you got any comments or questions, show them on out there. And I'm dang near done with the grass detail, and then all we got left is the trees here. And I'll show you the computer part. And I can keep going with the other pieces if y'all want me to, but most people, unless it's just the hanging out aspect that we're all focused on, it's totally up to y'all. Totally making up crap as I babble. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done with the grass. And I'm just going to add some random tree trunks in here. They don't have to be straight, obviously. And Steve Nealon, Harnell Media says, I wish I had your eye for landscape patterns. Surely most of mine are straight pieces. I don't, maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, but I don't know if I have an eye for them. It's just, I like detail. But if you have any specific questions going off of that, I guess I'm not entirely sure what you're saying. Now, it'd be easy to just make this one tree trunk and make all the rest of it black, but I feel like I want to add a couple more because I do see suggestions of other ones, but they are back in the shadow, and I'm not worried about being straight because they're tree trunks. And I'm going to add a little bit of detail on them, but I'm not going to go ape crap because I don't want them to get lost. And let's make it look like we got a knot hole in this one. Why the hell not? And some smaller ones over here. It looks like one's at an angle. We'll make it a broken log. I don't care. And that way offline. I didn't line that one up worth a crud. No, I'll let Russ do that. Damn Penelope's going to be the death of me. But we could, you know what? This is for Russ. We're going to make us a little rabbit here. Not on a tree trunk, though. And I'm just barely going to do a light-colored silhouette of one. Y'all won't see it until I got to try to remember how far back it is, so I can't make it too big. This will be a tribute to Russ. So there's a damn rabbit. I don't know how well y'all can see that at all, but y'all see it in the final pattern. Yay, Russ. I think that's kind of funny. We're going to have a little bitty rabbit out there. Thank you for making me think of that, Josh. Not in the tree, but at least it's there. Harnell Media says, I can make cabin patterns since I spent so much time in construction, but my patterns don't have bushes and trees and such. Cool. All right, so we have a little bitty rabbit right here. You'll see that when we do the computer part. Because I doubt you can see the ink. Well, maybe you can because there's a light reflecting off the ink. But yeah, we got a little tiny rabbit there. Yay. And of course, Russ ain't here to enjoy it, dag blabbit. Oh, my panel homies done run off. I'm trying to determine where I want to go next. See, that's actually one advantage to the light shining off the dark portions. You can see where I drew in the tree trunks that you can't see. I'm just kind of suggesting it. Anyway, here comes the fun part. And I'm going to be sloppy as all get out on this, but I gotta do the post side here. And if I had forgotten to put that in, we could have done it later on Paint Shop Pro because it's just basically a straight line. And again, I can't say it enough on leaf and shadow detail. You don't have to be exact. Yeah, you can enjoy it when I cut it. Ooh, Lord, that's going to be a booger. I'm not saying I won't, because I like to one-up myself, and I'm running out of ideas for one-upping myself. And it's time to use a magnifier glass again, because I'm drawing on dark ink. I can't see nothing. I know that probably glares for y'all, and I apologize. And there's more right there. If I jump around too much once I start the trees, then I'll totally forget an area, because I hate it when I pull the paper off and realize I didn't even trace that area. My God. Lord, that's a lot of trees. Whew. Oh well. And I do this every time I go through a pattern. Not every aspect of every pattern is fun, but at the end, it's worth it. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a family-friendly show. Yep, I'll be saying why, and I do it every time I have a detailed project. Why the hell did I let Herb add all this detail? Or I'll blame John or somebody else. And whenever I have trees and stuff, even though some of the detail of this roof goes up against where the trees are behind it, I don't go all the way to the edge of the roof with detail, because I want the edge of the roof to stand out a little bit before the detail starts, so it has a little bit of dimension. That's why I didn't do every single brick on the fireplace. I mean the chimney, not the fireplace edge. There's a whole bunch of detail I could add in here, but I have a feeling I'm going to get lazy. But we'll see what we can do until I did it on the rest of it. It's so hard to see where I've already done. It's a pain in my patootie. And I'm totally jumping around here. But before I pull the paper off, I'll look a little closer, and I may even do that out of view of the camera, because I have to get my face right up on it to look for reflections of ink lines on the paper. And I'm totally being sloppy here on purpose, because we don't have to trace every leaf. That would be stupid. Not stupid, just way too time consuming. You think I do detail now? Lord Jesus, if I traced every leaf, my God, it'd take 4 years to finish this. And that's just the pattern. All right, Charlie, figure out what you're doing, please. Not necessarily, Josh, because I'm still up against dark toner. And Josh, for those that are just listening and not watching, Josh asked if a different color ink would help. That would on some patterns, but not this one, because I'm tracing up against black anyway, and unless that ink is neon paint pen or something, then it wouldn't show up. I think I already traced that. Oh well. That's why I have to use the magnifier light, so I can see where I've already traced. I've had to do that on a few patterns now, especially that leopard on logs, because I couldn't tell where I had already traced. That's why I know this part isn't real exciting for y'all, or I suspect, because y'all can't really see where I've already traced unless y'all see the lines reflecting. ink lines reflecting off the paper. Totally just slapping some random detail in here. No real pattern to it. And jumping around once again. Other areas I could combine, but other areas I make bigger than they are. It's just, because it's random, because it's traits. But I am trying, it's kind of somewhat being consistent as far as, although I go into an area to trace it, I don't trace it exact, and I keep saying that, but it's the truth. But all this jumping around I am doing, I do have to look at it when I'm done to make sure I didn't completely miss something. And being that we drew in these tree trunks, I have to keep that in mind in some of these open areas. So I'm going to do that right now and suggest the edge of it, or at least have a shadow cast upon it from the leaves in front of it. And there we go. Yeah. Of course, I didn't cast a shadow on the bottom side. Now I did. Oh, I'm so blind. I did find some other cabin pictures. It's hard to find good ones because back when I did all my rustic burns and crap, that was most of the good rustic structures I could find. It's hard to find good cabin ones. A lot of them are at the exact same angle as this one, so they would look too similar as far as patterns go. Found another one almost exact, but it didn't have a chimney, and it didn't have porch rails, and wasn't quite as rustic, so that's why I went with this one. I already went there. See, I can't see where I've already been. And I guarantee I'll be done with the trees and then think I probably could have had a little more there, but I can show you what I do when I could have done more. And then inevitably, that's a word I have to say slowly, I will find areas that I didn't trace completely because I am being so sloppy with it. There are other areas I crowd too much, so that's the reason for the computer portion. Got another tree trunk in there, so I'm keeping that in mind. Now I'm just going to make a shadow. Yep, well now we got 11 watching, thank you guys. I see another little bitty tree trunk back in there that I might take advantage of. But I'll move it slightly off to the side because I've already drawn too close to it. So let's just make a random curved tree trunk, relatively skinny. Probably didn't need that one, but oh well. Sometimes I have to change direction when I'm tracing because I'm covering up where I'm trying to follow the line. I'm covering it up with the pen, so I have to come back towards it from another direction. I don't know if that makes any sense. But if you follow me on Facebook and seen the progress picture I showed, this is what I have to do with every panel that has dang trees in it. Yeah, a lot of them had trees in them. Well, thank you, Steve. I didn't even know I was supposed to be on there. But thank you. Yes, it was like a similar website kind of thing. Glancing around now to make sure there's areas I didn't forget, but besides the big old obvious ones. Okay. All right, we only got a couple people chatting. Y'all talk to me. I can only think of so much to say. Yeah. I love me some Dr. Pepper. Oh, by the way, Steve Nealon, this has nothing to do with anything except for what we were talking about yesterday. I'm going to share a screen and show you this. On this computer, I found the controller, but it doesn't work. I tried the zoom, the direction moving. It didn't do a dang thing for the webcam, whether it was offline or online. I tried the zoom. I took off autofocus, and all that crap. It didn't. It didn't. What should we call it? Didn't react. So, hello, Leonard. Oh, Cornell Media says it's other sites. It says other sites to find great patterns. It has you and Shay added to it so far. That way, people who show up can find patterns that aren't the same as theirs. All right, much obliged. Thank you for dropping by, Mr. Leonard Davis. So I don't know if that made any sense, Steve. What I just showed you. That's what I was looking for on the laptop, but it doesn't react when I hit the controls. And I've tried it offline and on. Well, why don't I try it now that we're online? Because I think because it already shows it. Okay, I'm hitting zoom out right now, and it's not doing anything. That's what I mean. It just the controls don't react. I have no idea. I have no idea. Thank you, Leonard. Okay, let's get this stupid detail in there. I believe that's the one that goes with that camera. But we got another one coming eventually, so let's hope it does everything it's supposed to do. At least I know I will know somebody that has the camera I'll be getting. So if I have any questions, I know it helps to be smarter than the camera, but I work with what I have. I think I already traced that one. And for anybody just joining, when I trace leaves or spaces between leaves, I'm being very sloppy because there ain't a specific shape to it unless you're being paid to get it exact. And then you'd be here 7 more years doing all this. So I'm being extremely sloppy. And that's why I repeat myself, because you never know when a new viewer is going to pop in. And I can tell sometimes when I trace something that I've already been there because it goes too quick. It's no resistance on the paper. It means I've already traced it. Because I'm definitely not going by a whole lot by sight because I can barely see what the hell I'm doing here. Yeah. And just throwing in a little leafy detail. The reason why I didn't continue up this way is because my pen would have been covering what I was coming up on, so I'm doing it to where I can see in front of the pen to have an idea where I'm going. I guess that's why I'm tracing slightly faster since we're not staying right on the line. That's true. Well, I'm referring to going off of the actual photo that's been taken. And yes, I've tried different colored inks, Leonard, and that really only works on patterns that have a lot of light. I'd have to find an example. Light areas in it, but this has a whole bunch of dark, and no matter how brilliant of a red you have, unless it glows, you're not going to be able to see it real well. I hope that made sense. But yeah, if I was drawing up against lighter stuff, using red, I'd be able to see. But then again, drawing up against lighter stuff, I'd be able to see any color ink better. So I have to use I'm using a magnifying light right now to see this crap. And that's the only time I need it is when I'm doing stuff like this. Or the log detail I did on that leopard on logs. That took a while. See, making note, you see this little cluster that went through there? Keeping that shape helps. That was an example of me still wanting it to look like trees, even though I'm really sloppily tracing stuff. I still wanted to slow down slightly in that area, so we had an area that looked like it was a branch sticking through like it actually is. I don't know if that made sense or not, but we don't always have to make sense, do it? Sometimes when I get tired of messing with the pattern, I'll do all kinds of sloppy stuff to it. I know it'd be easy to say, well, just walk away, but like, oh, I'm so close, and it's just trees. Slap in some detail. But right now, I'm still vaguely going off each shape. It's not exact. I'll keep saying that. But believe it or not, we're almost, in my opinion, done with this particular sheet of paper. We're done, and then we were. Yeah. Glow in the dark and turn off the lights, but it doesn't glow that bright. And I know you're just messing with me, but yeah. Yeah, if I could find a pen that actually had a decent sharp point on it and actually did glow, I'd definitely use it. And I know you have digital pens and stuff out there, but the main thing with that is learning curves, because I don't learn real good, and the money for it. I would try it if I had one, but I'd probably want a sizable one to do it. I've already traced that. I'd want a sizable one to do it actual size for blowing up, like I do on sheets of paper. I'd want whatever screen I was drawing on to be the size of a sheet of paper at least. And I imagine that's not cheap. So I'm not opposed to doing digital pen designs. I just mainly can't afford it. And like Steve was saying, it may go slightly quicker because it's directly onto the computer, but I would still have to do some editing because learning curve and even drawing it with a normal pen, I still have to edit crap. I'm getting really lazy now. That's how you can tell I want to get done with a certain area. Somebody had to have all these trees in here. Because I can always change things in the computer portion of this. And I'll keep saying that as well. Some folks need to be reminded, including me. Almost done. But you see how long just this one sheet is taking. So this is what happens if I do multiple sheets of paper on a pattern. That tells you how long it takes to make some of my patterns and why I charge so much for custom patterns. Especially one like this. It would be pretty darn expensive if this was a custom pattern. Most I've ever charged was $175, but I don't usually get ones like this. Good night, Jason. Happy Easter. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to try one of the large ones. I assume A4 is traditional paper size. I don't remember. Yeah, I'd love to try one. A lot more open area over here, so this part will go even quicker after I get some of these little details I see. And I see some more tree trunks. So I'm going to throw those in there. Now this is how I do trees, but I'm not saying this is the way to do trees because I am being so sloppy, but you know, if this pattern was called trees, I might take a little more time, but it's not, so there's that. And I've never used a digital pen like I said, but I imagine what I'm doing is what they do, just in a different way because it's a digital pen. They call me Captain Genius, figured that out all by myself. Now I could be wrong. Obviously, they got to choose brush size or pen size or whatever the hell. I'm not sure what the hell I'm talking about. It's just an educated guess. I got a little bitty branch sticking out there, so I wanted to suggest the shape. That's why I started going slower. If y'all could see me, you'd probably be laughing. My face is like an inch away from this magnifier. So even with a magnifier light, I have to jump in close. And I don't want to forget to do the the roof because I jumped over to the trees. But I still got more tree over there. And even if you're seeing this video not live and you've seen it like months down the road, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If I know the answer, I'll give them to you. And I was talking earlier about having big open areas. That's actually okay because there's no law saying trees have to be 100% cluster breaks. Thank you, Russ. God. Russ and or Ian, if y'all have a camera and a mic, or at least a mic, do y'all want to get on the panel? Because I'd love to talk patterns with y'all. Or have y'all talk about your patterns and how you do them. It's totally up to you. But y'all are welcome to be here, by God. I think that'd be kind of cool. We had Russ on a long time ago, but he's so shy. I'm just kidding. He's kind of busy and stuff. But I suspect Ian Thorley sort of talks like this, right? Right, am I right, Ian? Or am I totally wrong part of the earth? You might be in Ireland, for all I know. Yeah. I'm not the most mature fella in the world. Well, actually, I'm not bad. I just have a sense of humor, Dave. Blab it. All right, about in the chat, yell at Ian and Russ to get on the panel here. We want Russ and Ian. We want Russ and Ian. We're tired of Charlie. All right, Tim, appreciate you dropping by. Yeah, I've been told my British accent is posh. I don't know. I don't know the dang difference personally. I just fake it as I go, and it's usually wrong. Australian people tell me I have an old redneck equivalent when I do an Australian accent. It's like, God, I can't win. Apparently, I talk like a posh person. That can't be good. So since Russ and Ian have not responded, I'm guessing they don't want to get on the panel because they're shy or scared. You're scared. That's a little joke back and forth. I'm not actually giving you crap, but I would love it if you come on here. That'd be great. How do, Ian? Says Tim. That's funny right there. Yeah, I am posh. Thank you, Josh. Hey, that rhymed. We might, other than the roof here, we might be done, but I feel like I left something out. Well, I missed something somewhere. My gut tells me that. Other than a leaf detail here and there. All right, so we're gonna move on over to the roof because it looks like I've done enough of the trees. Have I? Yes, I do second guess myself. Y'all notice how Russ and Ian aren't responding to the invitation? Just saying, they're chicken. Just saying. They're probably calling me worse names than that. And we got 11 people watching. Y'all have any comments or questions for me? Throw them on out there. If you have any comments or questions for Ian or Russ, they're out in the chat. Ooh, I done put them on the spot. And I do get asked by, I know I probably missed 3 or 4 leaves there, Josh, but I appreciate you looking out for me. People ask, well, what makes you choose what patterns you want to do? And sometimes for me, it's selfish because I like doing things I like. But, you know, if you find out what's selling, that inspires some people. But I know I have fun doing wildcats, as you well know. I did a whole bunch of those in a row. So I suspect Russ has the same thing. I haven't followed Ian long enough to know what things he tends to stick to the most, but I imagine there are things he just wanted to do. I don't know. Another guy that started doing patterns for people is Jeffrey Flick. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. I haven't studied the spelling. So far they're free. I say so far because, as time goes on, sometimes people decide, you know what, I probably start getting paid for this. I used to do free patterns, and you can tell by looking at them. I'm not saying free patterns are crappy patterns. I'm saying mine. I'm speaking for mine. Mine were crapalicious. Back when I did free ones. Ooh, Lord, that just weren't pretty at all. I still look at some of my older patterns and just laugh at myself all kinds of ways. Russ Beers is stopping by to say hi. I gotta get up early tomorrow. I knew you was gonna come up with an excuse, Russ, but I love you anyway. I'm just messing with you. I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi and dropping by and saying hi. Yeah, Jeffrey Flick is taking a lot of requests, basically. Yeah, he's doing a lot of cars. He's done some. Thank you for dropping by, Russ Beard. Yeah, you've seen him, Josh. I can't remember all the themes he's done, but he's done quite a few themes. I actually don't know Russ Beard that well at all. We get along. He might hate me. No, he wouldn't be here if he hated me. Shut up, Charlie. He might love me to death. I'm kidding. He's not a floater. He's a married man. I'm just messing with you folks. Come on now. You got a sense of humor in these here parts. I'm totally jumping around. When it comes to how I do these roofs, I'm paying attention to the basic direction of the shingles, but there's too much of a cluster crap to trace it exact. So I'm just, suggesting the detail on there, but part of it is actual tracing. Love you too, homie. Oh, he loves me. Y'all hear that? We're getting married. I don't know how many times him and Ian both have probably shaken their heads at me. I know Steve Nealon has. Now, when I do rush through these roof lines like this, I do miss some areas, and sometimes I'll just copy and paste from other parts of the roof because there is no set pattern on these crapalicious shingles. They're a little aged. And Russ and Ian probably know of or know the designer that used the same photograph. I didn't figure that out until I had got partway through it. Oh, wait a minute, that looks a lot like so-and-so's pattern. I don't know if it'd be good or bad to mention his name. That's why I haven't mentioned it. But we don't copy each other. We just use the same source photograph on this one. But he mirrored it, so it wasn't a copy. And I don't know if I should be revealing that. Sorry. And I've been babbling so much, I've probably missed all kinds of detail on here. I know I got some more to go, but it's okay. I know that there's ways around missing detail on the roof. Some of them I've traced more than once because I can tell by my pen line going over it. And I'm breaking it out because if I attached all these, it'd be a big old gaudy mess, which it's going to be anyway because it's rustic shingles. Well, maybe I did trace all of it, or most of it. All right, we go. Yeah, nothing over there to worry about. All right, we're about to do the computer part. I'm just doing one last check, remembering this piece of paper we've already done. Now, God love him, Ian Thorley tried to show me what he did on a computer, and it evolved SketchUp. Because I wanted to see how he made his pictures look 3D. And man, God love him, he tried to explain it, but I'm dumber than a mud brick. No, I'm not dumb. It went way over my head. But I'm one of these people. I need a very patient teacher. See, I still got to do this whole sheet. Lucky y'all don't have to sit through that, but I do. So I got to do that whole sheet, and then I have to do these 2 whole sheets or half sheets, whatever, and then I'll be done with the pattern. But I'm going to go to the computer portion so y'all can see. But I'm going to do one last glance here to see if there's anything else I missed or want to add. You know what? I'm just going to get cocky, take it off there and say I didn't miss anything. And if I did, I'll reline it up, which happens. And this tape is old enough I can stop using it. I go through a lot of painter's tape, a lot of carbon paper, a lot of printer paper, and a lot of toner. But toner lasts a hell of a lot longer than an inkjet printer. Just saying. That's why I switched to a laser printer. And again, that's one of the pages we've already done. That's the part you saw butted up against the other one. And yes, we left out the handrails. Ian says, it takes time, Charles. One to one for that stuff. Probably it's a multi-step process. Josh Grover is actually sticking up for me. That's kind of weird, but I'm kidding. He says, stop putting yourself down so much. A lot of us can't even come close to doing something like this. Thank you, Josh. It's a bad habit I've always had. I'm trying to work on it, but every now and then I don't. But I do want it on the record that at 8:03 p.m. on April 4th, 2021, Josh was nice to me. He's been nice to me before. Come on now. A couple times at least. And he'll tell you when I first started seeing him in the live streams, I'm thinking this guy's getting on my nerves. But that's just, some people, that's how they banter, is crap talk. Every now and then it just catches me in a weird mood, and then I get butt hurt, and then things get a little rocky, and then they're fixed. And trust me, Josh, you're not the only one I've had that way with. Ian Thorley says, Charles keeps promoting me. I'm just the new guy. He blows me out of the water. Quiet! You're dang good at what you do, Mr. Ian Thorley. Y'all check him out on Facebook. If you have a website, you may not be able to post the actual link here on YouTube, but if you have a website, you can send me a link on Facebook Messenger, and I'll post it to YouTube, because only me and a moderator have the ability to post links. I guess that keeps people from posting spam and porn and crap like that. Yeah, because I don't see other designers as competition. I see them as people having other options. And I'm quite sure you and Russ are the same way, because y'all are friendly like. And that, and you give away your patterns. There's that. Russ Baird just recently started selling his, which is cool. Now see, I missed a lot of areas on that roof, but that's okay. Wait, it's upside down. But I can just copy and paste and throw stuff in there. But see all that work we did? And there's some areas I forgot to show the edge of the post on, but that's okay. But now y'all get an idea what it looks like, and y'all see I didn't add much in the way of grass, but I didn't want to. So there's a little bit of editing that has to happen, and there's blank areas in the trees like I was talking about. Okay, he only posts in Scrollsoft Patterns, Projects, and More at the moment. That's the name of a group on Facebook. So y'all check it out. I don't know if it's a group or a page, but either way, go on over to check it out. I believe that's one Russ Beard is very active in and or started that group. I'm in there as well. And I'll admit I don't do much in the way of giving away free patterns, because I kind of need to make a living. Well, I have been known to give away free patterns. Okay, we're going to scan this in, and I'm going to show you all the computer portion. Right now, y'all are seeing the magnifying light reflecting off of the glass. By the way, I traced my stuff on top of glass so that there's no texture under it. Well, that's upside down there, genius. And sorry about bumping the camera crane. I'm not used to it being there. Right, now I'm going to show y'all. And remember, I'm not teaching you the computer part. I'm just showing it to you, because this program's not even available anymore. I just keep dragging it from one computer to the next. So I'm going to share screens, and you don't have to look at all this. Share screen. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. Okay, so there's that. Now we're moving on over to I paint the Shopper Pro and my scanner. Gotta let it boot up first. I got all kinds of crap in my way over here. And I can move the camera now that I'm, no I can't because I clamped it in place. Now, I will explain what I'm doing here, but I'm not trying to teach it as far as Paint Shop Pro. This is Paint Shop Pro 4. They don't even make it anymore. It was made by a company, JASC. They might still be around because Paint Shop Pro is still sold, but that might be sold by Photoshop now. I have no idea, so don't quote me on that. I do it in grayscale, and I make it to where the brightness is not normal. I do it slightly dark, and you'll see why. The second that scan shows up, I'll show you exactly why I don't do it, straight up black and white or whatever. So it's scanning right now, and it doesn't take very long. I scan it in at 300 dpi because most catalogs you submit to also want them large. And this is all the other pages I've done. But the biggest number is the one we're at. So I drag that over to Paint Shop Pro. X out of that. And what I'm about to do is something they call a color changer, because all my patterns are with this shade of gray. And if you do an RGB red, green, blue thing, it's 128 up and down. And I'm going through that part quickly because that's not why I'm here. So I using my right mouse button to click on the dark color, and I want it to be the light color gray here. So this is the icon for the color replacer, and that's the tolerance, which is high. And I just sweep across here with the mouse. And as soon as I fill it with white, you will see why I don't scan it in at actual color. I turn the brightness down. And the second I hit it with white, you'll know why. And we're going to fill it with white with a tolerance of 80. I'm telling you what I'm doing, but not necessarily teaching it. But I am telling you why I do it at not see, this is where I need a pen on my bro. I can't see the comments. Steve, do you want to at least get on microphone wise so I have somebody to read the comments? You can tell me no, but okay, I want everybody to watch. I'm about to fill it with white, and look. Now, the reason why I did that not normal, I did it darkened, is where you see that off-white. That tells me there's no breaks in the line. That's a very crappy rabbit. I need to fix that. I just drew it in as I was going. I got all kinds of editing to do, but where that off-white is, that tells me there's no breaks in the line. So that is why I do. Now see, that's white. That tells me there's a break in the line, which is obvious, but I'm just explaining. But I'm going to jump back over there and see if we got any comments or questions going on. Paint Shop Pro is owned by Corel. Corel is who I was thinking of. Steve, is it at all possible to get you at least on mic, but not camera? So I can have somebody read comments if they come in. Please, pretty please. I'll, well, no, I can't do it while I'm screen sharing. Let me stop screen sharing long enough. I'll send you the link just in case. No pressure, but get your hind parts in here. Little joke there. But yeah, I am sending you the link, but you do not have to come. But y'all will at least hear the voice of my website guy, if he shows up. All right, I'm going to share screens again, go back into the Paint Shop Pro. We have 11 people watching. If you have any comments or questions, come on out there. Now I can no longer see comments because I'm in Paint Shop Pro. And rather than do all the editing here, I'm going to edit, copy, and then add it to the big pattern we're working on. Sometimes it lines up perfectly, sometimes it does not, because I don't draw perfectly. Edit, copy. That's not me dogging myself, that's true. Edit, paste as, see, there's keyboard shortcuts. If you look beside it right there with Control-Shift-T, but I just do it the hard way. So we're going to attach this here, and you can see some of it. Okay, let me edit undo here. That means I need to move this whole thing up to the side so we don't cut off any of it. We'll just move it over like that. And we'll redo it. Edit, paste as transparent selection. And now it won't be cut off. Yay! And I'm going to get in closer with the magnifying glass and line things up better. And it never completely perfectly lines up. It's just the nature of the beast. Figure out where I want to line it up. Okay. So we know that has to line up right about there. And we can get relatively close and then just wing it from there. But I'm looking at other areas too. Tells me I need to go to the right. Some of those gaps are intentional because I don't draw it right to the edge. We might be able to work with this. I'm just scanning up and yeah, we're going to work with this. And you can see not everything lines up, but we'll fix that. First thing I do is save it so that if my computer goes scrapalicious, then I don't have to mess with rescanning and crap. I need to move this dang camera out of the way. Okay, since Steve is not here, I'm going to check and see if we got any comments. Send the link. I'll be in as soon as I can. Okay. So he did get it, or it is sent, and yeah, no rush, because we don't have a rush of comments. Now I'm just going to be doing gray and white, and first thing I do is go through where everything is butted up against each other and connect them, and the areas that I messed up, I will just edit those out. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. I know everything is going to line up perfectly, but that's the joy of, by the way, the width of the lines are 6 pixels. And this is a big old rustic porch, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect. But I also try to avoid jutting lines, so I mean, it can be a subtle little wave. So everything that I correct that is white and I want it to be colored in, I'll correct it and then I'll color it in so I don't have to do it later. And I said don't worry about those wavy lines, but that's eating at me because it didn't line up very well. Oh well, and I just made another jutting line because why the hell not? You know what I mean? Y'all are being awful quiet, Cletus. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on down here. Let me color that in. Get rid of that. So yeah, if you zoom in on one of my patterns, it's all kinds of sloppy because it's pen lines. It's not, vector or any of that crap. If I could vectorize them without it changing the quality of it, I would, but I've tried that, and I'm limited when it comes to graphics. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Nealon, hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. If you need a website done, that's the guy that does it. Hey, sweeter than hell.
Hang on a second. I gotta edit some of this.
All right.
I had the other stream open and listening to it in stereo.
Yeah, with a delay too.
I know.
I appreciate you helping me out. I just didn't want to ignore any comments that came in, and it's hard to do both. As superhuman as I might be, see, when I don't dog myself, I feel arrogant. Dagnabbit.
Where did you stop reading comments?
You.
Chris Elam wants to know if you can design for as many straight hours as you can cut.
Yes, sir. I can probably design for more hours than I can cut because I can slouch like hell in my chair. Right now, I'm leaning back in my chair because I'm just slopping it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I get tired of messing with it, like, because, and I know I'm the reason why I get tired of messing with it, but we've got all these trees. It gets a little old every now and then, so I'll take a break. Yeah, screw this. And I don't design while I'm eating. Other than that, I do everything at this computer desk, and I'm taking out these lines that weren't meant to be there, that I changed my mind on. So anything that's off white tells me there's no breaks in that line, but I do know that not everything lined up here, so I'm going to just draw them in. Some of this is obvious. I just think out loud so everybody knows what I'm thinking and doing. So I just slop it. Luckily, it's not a perfectly straight line because it's rustic. That's a running joke, but it's also the truth on something like this. So I'm not really worried about it too much if it's not perfect.
I wondered how you were doing this sighting on that.
What do you mean?
I couldn't figure. That's the one thing I have trouble with when I'm designing patterns is trying to get sighting to where you can tell it's different boards without putting lines that obviously cut it into pieces with no floaters.
Well, okay. In this case, the light pieces are the detail on the boards, and at least one edge is going to at least be somewhat straight, so that suggests the edge. And on other ones, this dark edge suggests the edge of that board, but I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does. I'm just looking at the pattern, trying to figure out I mean, you're still working on it, so I don't want to mess you up. But
no, you won't mess me up. I can talk all day.
It almost looks like the grain pattern on the left side of that post right there, where the door is.
Uh-huh.
Looks like it actually comes forward to the post, not to the door, not to the doorway. That's why I was trying to figure that out.
Oh, that could be because I didn't continue this detail over to here. It looks. I'm glad you pointed that out. See, contrary to popular belief, I do make mistakes. Because that's some things I can't fix, but I might be able to fix that.
Right. Well, it just threw me because, like I say, it looks like the grain runs to that front post instead of to the edge of the door and stopping.
Yeah, and that's mainly because I didn't add the this door jamb right here because it was butted up. You can kind of see the off color right there next to the white or the aged, and it's kind of hard to explain. See how it's dark over there, and I had it dark there, and it's light here, so that kind of plays into it. But if I back up on the pattern, you might be able to see. No, it'll probably help once I color it in. I don't know.
I would say I think it's the fact that it's not fully colored yet.
Well, that and the fact that I can only get so detailed without screwing it out. But yeah, if somebody zooms in on every one of my patterns, it'll definitely look sloppy as crap.
Well, any pattern does if you're zooming that tight into them.
Yeah. Now, what I'm doing here is making where they connect, less noticeable. Because if I didn't do this, y'all would see, ooh, there's a jet right there on everything in that straight line. So that tells me, hey, that's where you can connect to the sheets of paper. I try to avoid that being visible, although it's not the end of the world.
So I think that's what throws me is the fact that right now, the right-hand side of that picture is colored the opposite way.
Yeah, and now
color different.
Yeah, as I fix each one, I will go in and color them in. I see how some of them line up, some of them don't. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Of course, that was where I had trouble seeing it too. And again, it's rustic, so it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
So this is another area where I got confused. And that's kind of a ugly shape.
Yeah, and the fact that you're still using an older program makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, that too.
Using like the Photoshop that I use for doing my patterns, it does make it a lot easier because I have a lot more tools available to me.
Yeah, I believe there's probably tools on Paint Shop Pro I've never used. There's no doubt in my mind, but Shadley, I believe, uses Photoshop. I believe Russ Beard uses Photoshop. I don't know what.
Yeah, I know Shay does because I've taught her a few of the tricks from.
Oh, okay. I know
Yeah.
Ian Thorley. I know at least for the way he displays his patterns is done in SketchUp. I don't know how he actually designs his patterns. But if he's still watching, he could probably tell us.
Ian says, if I would come on Mike Charles, but my wife is in bed and I have to be quiet or else. It's 2:15 in the morning.
No, that's true. He's in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
See, I confused myself in this area. I don't know what's detail and what's not. Wait, did I do that backwards? No. No, yeah, I did. This is when I was drawing this, I got confused too. That's why there's not much detail in this area. And it's very rare that I get confused like this on my own pattern, but y'all got to witness it because why the hell not?
Yeah, and see, I work with the eraser as much as I do with the pen tool.
Yeah, and
like
Go
the
ahead.
post, I would draw the post top to bottom all the way down, and then go through with the eraser and erase the areas that I want to keep open to the white.
I've been known
rather
to do
than-
that mainly with guitar strings. Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it filled in like that tells me there's still a break in the area I just tried to color in. So I zoom in and boom, there's the break. And there again is one of the reasons why I do that contrast when it comes to the scanning it in. Yeah, it looks really crappily.
Ian says he uses GIMP, Inkscape for the main GIMP and Inkscape for the main pattern, SketchUp for the 3D image.
Nice. Now for those that don't know, GIMP and Inkscape are both completely free programs. GIMP.org and Inkscape.org. They're completely free patterns. So there you go. I mean, not patterns, dagnabbit.
Yeah,
programs. Yeah.
Yeah, Inkscape is what I use for my laser.
Yeah, and there's a learning curve for people like me, but shocker. But yeah, I do the way I do my 3D when I make it look like it's showing at an angle. I do that in GIMP. That's about the only thing I know how to do in GIMP. Right now, I'm really going sloppy through here. I just want to get it colored in, so it looks more like it's supposed to look. And I missed all kinds of lines. But see, there was a time I knew what Ian did, but I mean what program, but I've slept since then, and I have a horrible memory. Now, this may not help the fact that it looks like it's coming up to the post and not the door, but I'm really just drawing it the way I see it. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you'll notice I'm not.
It will help because right now where your edge of your paper is, you've got it black to the one edge, and so it actually looks like the door is that wide. That's why it was throwing me off.
Oh, okay. You'll notice I'm not coloring in the ones that are off white because I already know that those are filled. I am going to fix that line right there. And I will be straightening some of the line, even though it's rustic. I don't want it to look like it's a wavy, warped piece of crap.
Right.
And I'm not being real careful here. I could, but I'm not. It's rustic. That's my go-to excuse, unless it's not rustic. Okay, I'm going to color that one in, and then I can make that line a little more consistent. Even though it's rustic, I don't want it to go into a point like that. I want it to go like that, and then this makes it less brittle. A little less brittle. Now I got to figure out what I want to do in here. Yeah. I'll just color that in black like we saw in the picture, even though I said it didn't look like it lined up.
Ian said he only started using GIMP and Inkscape last year when he came to the hobby. He doesn't know much about either one.
Well, he just figured out something good.
Well, like he said, he gets what he like you using this program. you're not you never claim to be an expert on it. You get it to do what you know how to do, and you get it to do what you need.
Yeah, and Shaylee is another one that picked up on scrolling and designing relatively quickly.
Yeah, well, like I say, Shaylee and I talk about designs all the time. I've been doing this stuff for almost 40 years.
Googly moogly.
So I did graphic design of different types even back then, and Shaylee did a lot of graphic design.
I drew as a hobby, but I've never had a job at it.
Right, and it's different when you're working on a computer to do it too.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know. As an example of showing how I make my patterns, and I'm not trying to dog myself here, but this was one of the more sloppy pains because y'all saw me having to deal with the. Did I lose Steve or did somebody else?
No, I'm here. No, it's probably my computer digging because I got so much stuff going on.
It's Mr. Russ Meadows.
Oh, Russell.
How you doing, Russ? We can't hear you if you're talking.
I wasn't talking.
All
I
right.
was just waving.
Well, for you being too quiet. I'm screen sharing.
I lost my drone.
I was looking at the wife. We're just looking at new drone footage we got tonight. Some pretty good stuff, I think.
Now, don't get your hopes up, Russ. But last night I was laying in bed.
Oh yeah, that's when you started back.
That was a hell of a time for her to interrupt me.
Well, yeah, wasn't it?
No, because I wasn't just laying in bed thinking of you. I was laying in
Oh,
bed.
look how good that is, though. You were backing up off of it.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead and try it again, Charles.
I was
3 times is a home run.
I was laying in bed thinking of that time you tried to get me to choke on my Dr. Pepper and you tried to do the shebangy thing. And you half screamed. Your wife said, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And I kept replaying that in my head, and I kept cracking up. And I was trying not to shake the damn bed. That's why it stuck out to me because I have to be careful in bed. I don't want to wake up my wife.
Uh-huh.
I kept cracking up, replaying that in my head.
Oh man!
What the hell's wrong with you?
All I gotta tell you is, if you talk in your sleep, don't mention my name.
Oh man!
My God, if you walk in your sleep, forget where you came. That was an old Elvis Presley song.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. That we're supposed to have.
Hello, Josh, Steve, Chris, Ian.
Hey, Russ.
Yeah, whoever else is up here that I haven't seen yet.
Ain't no whole lot of commenters. There's Ian and
Russ Beard's there.
oh, he's still there. I thought he went.
That was
I
up.
think he left.
He might have left.
Damn it.
Yeah, stopping by to say hi and goodbye. TF Turning. Which one is that?
That's Tim.
Tim. Okay. Sometimes I can't remember the blinking names when they just have their channel name up there.
I hear you. And as y'all remember where I accidentally drew the edges of the post? Yeah, I just fixed that. That was for that bush to show through.
Sure don't look like much right now.
No, it looks like a cluster. It looks like a cluster crap right now. I'm going through fixing mistakes.
Yeah.
You
did have a lot of foliage on that one.
Yeah, even then it man, I get the one above this one's going to be a real bugger. Luckily for y'all don't have to sit through it. I do.
Let's see. Josh says if Charles has us in his dreams, we're all in trouble.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not. Charles might be.
I'm sure I've had nightmares about stuff. Go to your room.
Chris said he'd analyze your dreams, but it's still Easter, and he don't want to get into that.
Oh, that's funny right there. I have had, I don't want to call them nightmares because they didn't scare the hell out of me, but I've had nightmares of fighting with friends of mine, which has happened. But, in my dreams, I was healing that fight, and that's not always the case.
All I got to tell you is if we ever have a fight, you just let me win. I am an old man, right? Let me win.
Well, I'm more emotional than you, so I'd be more emotionally hurt.
Mm.
I don't like that look, so I'm just gonna. See, now I can hold my own, but fighting a friend, it'll emotionally kill me.
I think you
Because-
still had a little white dot on that last one you did.
I did, but I'm about to show you how I fix that.
Ah, okay.
It's a color replacer thing, and this helps me also uncrowd things.
Is that when you start shaking it across?
Yeah, well, one of
Okay.
the shakes, but I just realized I didn't do any editing up here. What the hell? Why didn't I continue that line? Well, we'll continue it now.
Was you supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, unless it just disappears. I think it's to suggest the edge of the roof where it starts to go under, and that's what I didn't do
All right.
when I was drawing it, because I made that decision on the last pattern, but not on this side. By the way, the way I was able to snooker Steve onto the panel is because I needed somebody to read comments while I'm sharing screen like you.
Ah, you poor thing. You got hooked. Took the
It
bait,
happens
man.
occasionally.
Took
Now,
the
It
bait.
happens.
I can edit more crap in there because that looks too straight, and we don't want straight on a rustic cabin. Okay, now what we're gonna do here, then I'll do the quick part is color replacer. Fill it with black, and that tells me anything white needs to be. Whoops.
Chris said he has to order some sandpaper. He's all out of the mid-range grits. Well, I'm telling you what, when you order them grits, just give me some eggs to go with them, all right?
Good
That's
God, on a
That's what I'm
stick.
talking about.
That's a Texan for you.
But you know it. You know it.
Now, what I'm about to do here, sorry for interrupting, I'm going to fill in the white with black, and anything that's off-white or white, I will turn to gray with the color replacer. So that makes some of this go quicker. And, whoops, well, I got to move this stupid thing. Anything that's just a line tells me I had another broken line, but I know I'm going to have to edit some of that tree line or tree detail. Oh, I even did a rabbit for you, Russ, but looking at it up close, it looked like crap. Josh wanted it in a tree, but I put it on the ground. But
Oh, God dang, you should have listened to Josh.
And you can see it right down between the two trunks on the
yeah,
down there.
right,
There's a little
it's right
spot.
there. But
Oh, you can see it just as good as he can see mine, huh?
yeah. Oh, that's funnier than hell. Now we're gonna go back through. That made a little bit of quicker work there. Whoops. Let me use the fill tool, and then it won't take as long. I say, I guess I'm okay with those posts not being completely straight up and down because it's rather rustic.
It's rustic. They warped in the weather. Come on.
Well, and
Yeah.
you're also looking at it at an angle, so they're not gonna be perfectly straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they should be.
Wow, that
You're
was
looking at it
well
at an
off.
angle, like you said. You
Now,
got the parallax error.
examples of what I got to fix. That's your rabbit. It looks really crappy. I have to fix that, but I was drawing it on the fly, and anyway, you know what the hell I mean. I don't even need that piece of detail in that tree. Yeah, just adding a little width to the tree, and let's make this look more like a rabbit. A rabbit. Still ain't gonna look much like a rabbit because it's kind of small.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a damn rabbit. Looks like an aardvark. Let's flatten the back.
I'm saying flatten the back a little bit, and it'll be a rabbit.
Yeah, we'll call that a real generic rabbit with a real pointy nose.
Man, my rabbit in my tree looks so much better than that.
Trying to give
I
him a
looked at
lesson.
that thing again today. By God, it's still there.
Damn it! Why can't I not? I know how to draw a damn rabbit. Apparently not real well. Screw it. There's your rabbit. You can thank Josh for that. You got a rabbit in this pattern. Because I did not have intentions of throwing a rabbit in here.
Josh says Penelope looks more realistic.
Yeah. Well, that's true. It is real versus head. Now, again, a lot of patterns up close look like Crapalicious, but I may not do all the editing here on the live stream, but I'll do 99% of it. Right now I'm picking up some of these lines so that they're not quite as brittle.
Yeah, that's the biggest trick, is knowing what will be too brittle to it'll break off real quick.
Yeah, there's still a lot of my patterns I probably should edit like that and get rid of the brittle crap, but I don't.
I figure if it's too brittle, then cut it bigger.
Yeah, that's what I tell people.
I was going to say, that's right. Yeah, whoever's cutting it should have an idea of how to make it thicker.
Yeah,
You don't have to.
If a bridge is too narrow, make it wider, by God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually edit trees this much, but I just noticed an area that didn't look right. That's just a broken log. It looks kind of crapalicious. Matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of it. No, I ain't going to get rid of it. Let's line it up a little better. Let's do it this way, damn it.
Are you going to
Yeah.
redefine the corner post of the porch?
At some point I might, yeah. Because right now it looks kind of crappy. Yeah, I got real sloppy with those because wasn't any detail to add on them. I didn't use a straight edge for one. Yeah, I could probably.
Okay. Yeah, well, the bottom of it looks like it's sitting over in the trees, not on the porch.
That's true. I need to, because that's the edge of the porch right there. Wait, that lines up right with the grass. Let me look at the source photo. Wait, duh. That does. It lines right up with the grass. That's a weird ass illusion. Yeah, I don't like that. Dag blev it. Now what the hell? Well, okay, we'll just slope the damn thing right here. Right after the rub. Yeah, I don't like that optical illusion, but I do need to adjust the porch a little bit too. And I'll fix that a little better here in a second. There's your rustic log. No way. The porch is going to be over there. Bring this line out. Rustically. And bring that line out. Yeah, that grass doing that really looked like crap. See, that's an example of something not translating well into a scroll saw pattern as far as being able to tell the difference, because grass is green, obviously, and a porch ain't unless it's molded. So that kind of helps a little bit. No, not really. But I need to get rid of that log now because it's kind of in the way. Yep, I'm going to get rid of that log. Y'all still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just watching the process.
I was going to say, I was just trying to figure out exactly what you were doing.
I'm getting rid of this log because it came in right at the corner of that porch and kind of messed with me. That don't look right, dag blabbit.
You kind of have to leave it like that, though, to give you some delineation there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Yeah, it looks rounded, or what? I don't know. I don't even care, but okay, it stands out a little bit. But yeah, but then the tree suddenly stops. Oh, screw it. Yeah, let me do the rough.
Well, like I say, part of that, that porch post, that one has more of a curve than any of them does.
Yeah,
You
I'll
mostly
have to.
straightened them out, but you didn't straighten that one.
No, I most definitely did not. But I knew I should have used a straight edge when I was doing it, but I was going for rustic. But I think I was just going too fast for my own good. Very definitely rushing on this part because I'll edit this when I do the trees above it. It's just for the sake of coloring in. So not every aspect of making a scroll saw pattern is pretty. And if this was a person or an animal or something, it might turn out a little prettier for y'all's end result. But up close, it's going to look grapplicious.
Aussie man just joined us. Hello.
Good day, I'll say.
How you doing,
Hey,
Bill?
And yes, Bill, I'm aware this looks nothing like Chuck Connor's.
Josh says you kind of need a log going off to right to pick up the leaf branch.
I'm not sure what he means, but I'll look here in a second. Probably that leafy stuff was back behind the porch.
That's... Bill says, yes, it does not. Well, you got to explain that one, Bill.
Yeah. You're right, it does not.
Josh is down on the porch post.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bill says, can we call it Chuck's cabin at least?
Sure. By God.
That'd be great. Nice little place to go to get away from it all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's some little crowded areas I could fix later, but for the sake of the damn it. See, when that happens, that ain't good. Why does that keep happening? There must be a break I don't see. Oh, but I do see white specks here.
Yep.
Oh, okay, it was just attached too much. Okay. I think Josh is talking about right here. I could just continue the bushy crap down to here, but then that would confuse the stupid porch again. Oh well, I'll get it here in a second. Where am I? There I am. And there's other crowded crap I can fix here in a little bit, but something I don't know what the hell I did here. But I screwed up all kinds of lines.
Well, you're not kidding.
Let me save this real quick. It's real
I'm
fun.
glad you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's fun when you get this far into a pattern and forget to save it and something crashes and oh my god.
That's exactly what I was about to tell you. I said I'm glad you were saving it because I'd say hate to see those changes get lost.
Yeah, there's times that in the past I would have thrown crap, but and there's times I tell myself I just sort of shake my head and say, well, that worked well, and then I'll take a break and then go back to it. Because I'm not always the happiest camper when it happens.
Yeah, I've done that a time or two, designing patterns on the CNC and stuff, and I forget to save it, and then I'll hit something, and oh god, I got to start all over again. I say a few choice words, and then get right back on it again.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me mad.
If I ever lose this program, I'm kind of screwed because I'd have to reteach myself how to do the computer portion. Paint Shop Pro is the only one I know how to use.
Right.
But, well, this early version anyway.
I'm gonna say somewhere I've got an old copy of Paint Shop Pro 6.
I got one of 8.
Well, then I might be bumming for one of y'all if something happens.
Ah.
I don't know what happened here. I don't know why it didn't. And I know some of these are still crowded, but I don't even care anymore. I'll fix them later. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I've closed these. Don't look like, wow, that looks just like a cluster of leaves in a tree. No, it doesn't. But that's the hazard of zooming in real close.
Bill wants to know if we can call it Chuck's cabin at least.
Yeah, Russ already read that one, and I say, yes, sir, we can. But thank you for your participation.
I'm gonna say I had to go away and actually do some work for a change.
Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm surrounding this with a selection tool, but it's because I don't want to go through and fix all those little white specks. So I'm going to use the color changer.
Yeah, Ian says Inkscape is just absolutely one of the worst for crashing. He learned the hard way to save often after losing 3 hours worth of work.
Oh, man. Did you say wonderful, dirty? Whoops.
A few dirty words.
Yeah, a few. Let's see, now I didn't have to go through and individually fix it. Well, there's a little piece of black right there.
Josh was asking, is that Penelope in the leaves?
No, it just God, don't make me look.
He'll never find it, Josh.
Hell no, I won't.
Oh, that man was so upset that he couldn't see Penelope.
Well, no, I couldn't, because see, I'm trying to tell you, I was looking for an actual rabbit, not a shape of a rabbit or the look of a rabbit. I was looking for a living, breathing rabbit. And
Well, I ain't never seen a rabbit climb a tree, but I ain't saying they can't do it.
I hear you. That's.
But I got one in my tree, so it got there somehow.
I don't like the look of this trunk, so I'm taking it out.
Hello, Herb. Hello, Donna.
Hello, Wade.
Hey, Hoyt.
There's a little
Hi, Donna.
for you. So, other than the crowding, okay, now the only thing I got left to do really is adding some more detail to the roof. Technically, I don't even need to because it is rustic. I mean, would you agree? I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm saying I'll still add detail, but I could get away with not adding any more detail to that roof because it's a rustic cabin.
I like it with a little bit more detail on the corner down there. On the corner, man. At least on the corner.
Yeah. I was just.
Now, do something with that, and you could probably let the rest of it go. Herb gave Bill all his LOLs, so he ought to be happy now.
By God.
It's not, they're not the same type them as it is saying it, huh?
Yeah, it's not the same punch. Herb, if you want to get on the panel, let me know. I just didn't want to assume nothing.
Aussie says, I sure miss your LOLs live, Herb. And Josh says you do need something in the corner. By God, me and him are on the same page today.
No, I'm planned on it. I was just saying I could get away with it because it is rustic. And
no, you can't get away with it. No, can't get away with it.
I need to stop having a panel on these pattern shows. Yeah. I know there's a lot of crowding and crap I could fix in there, but I'm giving y'all the gist of what this is. But and I will. Let me go ahead and say this. I'll go ahead and now that I can almost get away with leaving that post as it is now because it is rustic. Seriously, that far right, far left post. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? What do you think, Steve? Because if I add a detail to those, they'll get lost in the trees and the front of the cabin.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't want detail on it. It's whether you want it straight. You've got 4 straight and one that's got a weird curve. I've never seen a board curve the way that one does it.
Well,
normally curve in the middle.
But actually, if you look close, they're not all straight. I actually need to straighten some of them. Damn it.
It just has a weird curve because a board, when it's got pressure from above, will curve in the very center.
Mm-hmm.
I could go out and show you a picture. Well, I'd have to go dig it up. But picture of what my front porch looks like when they didn't put the right post in, and it actually bowed in the center because it's getting equal pressure from bottom and top.
Helped it a little bit. Now it's curved up at the top. Okay, we can fix that. Blah, blah, crap. Don't worry, I'll clean the stuff here in a little bit. I'm just making the post more straight.
Yeah.
Now, it can be a little bit curved because it is right.
Rusty. It can be a little curved. It's just that one has such a weird curve at the top.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at your source photo, and it looks like it's curved.
Yeah. It's well, it's also the lens of the camera that kind of bent the picture.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I noticed that on the back side of the cabin, there was something that was curved that I didn't like.
Yeah, you don't want perfect straight lines because you don't like cutting straight lines to begin with.
Well, that and we love rustic. Now the back
Josh
side.
said he'd leave the post alone.
Oh yeah, okay.
Now you say it,
One thing that I fixed on the pattern, I didn't like how this side right here curved, so I straightened that one. Now you could tell the camera bent things over here on that where that siding meets the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That was all kinds of whatchamacallit. So I fixed that over here.
Yeah, that may not be as much of the camera as you seem to think. If you look at the fact that door frame is built out of tree posts,
well,
rather
yeah,
than 4x4s or whatever.
Well, I guess what I was saying is it just didn't look right.
Yeah, it does look good on the pattern.
Yeah. Now it was after I drew this. Sorry, Russ, I'll be done in a second. After I drew this, I realized I wanted that because I wanted just the cabin. I figured I was going to do more trees behind it. I said, you know what? Just add this little cabin back there. So that's why I moved it over. So there's that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Josh says you have to realize the angle of the source post, and Jason Richloff says I'm back.
We sure missed you, sir.
Bill says, Rustic, you leave Russ's body parts alone, by God.
Oh, that's funnier than hell right there.
Stop it, Bill. Stop it.
Okay, now what I'm doing is moving it off to the left so that I'll have a perfectly straight edge off to the side. And then I'll have plenty of room for adding that part I'm going to be adding in. There it goes. Selection, select, none. Save it again. Now you can still add more detail to that dang roof.
Yeah, you got to do something with it.
Fine. Yeah, there's a few places I missed, but I was being sloppy with it.
Hey, we don't pay for sloppy.
I was about to talk smack and say I don't remember the last time you paid for one, but you bought the Ultra Mega Train, so I'll
My
shut
God, I'm good for a long time on paying for that big monster.
Yes. Now, will he ever cut it? Just saying.
Happy Easter to all as well.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Come on, guys.
Yeah, the train pattern I stole from you a year ago. I came up with the box that I had made with the train lasered onto it. We came up. It was a year ago that I posted it on Facebook.
Here comes Peter Cottontail. Hopping down. Never mind. I don't like it when I say Miller mean.
Yeah. There's Donna saying Happy Chocolate Day again.
Sure enough. All right. Well, we can extend this one a little bit, but I can also start cutting and pasting some of the detail that's already in the root and just move it down. We don't want to make it straight because it ain't straight shingles. Just saying. I thought that chair was a butt burp.
Sorry, I've got customers hitting me on the other computer.
Dang, customers! My God.
Like you said, I don't work just 9 to 5.
Yes, I don't either. My job don't pay as good, but. Okay. Now, see, stuff like this, I know I could fatten up a little bit, but I'm not worried about doing that on this particular live stream. Trying to find a good area to copy and paste. That way I don't have to draw it all in there. Now I'm whistling that stupid Peter Cottontail crap. Edit copy. Edit the paste as a transparent selection and move it over there. Or there. Or there. Let's do both. No, that's two. No. What the hell am I trying to do? Don't so quiet.
Oh hell! I read that comment and I was muted. Austin man's comment at the end. I said, no wonder you didn't say nothing.
What? Funny how that happens. What did I miss?
Bill said that this one certainly takes care of your detail fetish, Charles.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll find something else stupid. Not calling him stupid. I'm saying more detailed crap.
That is a lot of detail.
Oh yeah, but
How did you do the bricks on the chimney?
I just traced some of them. Didn't trace others.
Ah, yeah, okay.
It was more so the spaces between them, except for the mossy covered ones.
Yeah. Wow, that looks
I
good.
traced him. Haven't you been paying attention? I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you one thing: if you traced it and I traced it, they would not look alike. Not in my view. I've never been able to trace one like you do.
Well, thank you. That looks too white right there. Wouldn't you agree? This whole front of
Yeah.
the roof here, dag blade.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have something there because
See if there's anything on the other roof that I can copy and paste and bring over there.
Oh man,
I'm
just
sure
draw.
there is. No.
Jason Richloff says you got 12 people watching.
Well, thank you, sir.
If you have any comments or questions.
So, come on out there. See, this gives you an idea how bad I suck at navigating a mouse. I'm trying to not bump into any other detail, but I'm bumping all the hell into detail.
Yeah, you did.
I can't trade crap with a mouse. Oh, Lord, I butchered that all to hell. Oh, whoa. We'll go with that. Edit, copy, edit. Whoops, move it first. Edit faces a transparent selection. Oh, not the same angle as the other roof. Alrighty then. So there's so much for that. But what I could do is rotate it. But that would blur it slightly. You'll notice this here shortly. Let's go with 5. Boom! Almost the same. Nope, not quite. That better been your chair, sir. Somebody got to stop eating them Rosarita roof fries.
Herb's leaving us. Good night, Herb.
Appreciate you driving by, Herb.
Later, Herb.
Herb's gonna go take him a nap.
Naps are fun.
Yeah, I know. I might be doing that pretty soon myself.
Me too, after I eat a pie. Why don't I zoom in instead of doing this the hard way? Because I do things the hard way, Goob. Let's see how that's slightly blurred. Anytime I rotate something, it'll blur it like that. I don't know why.
Bill's fixing to get your goat here in a minute.
Oh, God.
He said you might want to put a touch more detail in that big square white bit up in the top left corner of the pattern.
Yeah, I'll get there. Yeah, one way to get rid of some of that blur is to fill it again. Makes it all crapalicious like the rest of it. Got all kinds of little specky specks in there. I'm not a fan of specks.
Jason said, good job on the patterns.
Much obliged, sir. It's a little rustic.
Yeah.
All right, so we did that. By God, if y'all don't like the corner, these things can happen, but I do need to find some more down here. Dag blat it! This is like a really rustic roof, you know. See, when you draw it, though, it looks more pixelated than the other lines. See how it looks more jagged than it does when they're scanned in?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can round some of those little corners and crap, but I don't want to. That's why I usually copy and paste so I don't have to look jagged like that. I feel the same way, Tracer.
Bill says, all jokes aside, it's superb as usual, Charles.
Much obliged, mister.
Looking real good.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for me to call it a night, fella.
You hate me, Russ.
I
Damn.
just got here, I know, but I'm so sleepy sitting in this chair. I had a good supper, and then we went out doing the drone footage, and I'm sleepy.
Wow.
Yeah. Hear that?
You can see his wife's concerned for his
I'll
well-being.
tell y'all what, y'all. I know that several of y'all have told me y'all wait with bated breath to have her bust my chop.
Well,
You can
that's
see y'all just popping the popcorn and eating it, waiting for it to happen.
that's actually pretty good timing because I believe we's done with the other than the little fine tuning bull crap. God, I have one more sheet to do here and two more half pieces to do over here.
Bill said, by the way, it's still no bloody rifleman,
This is true.
and it ain't no bloody aircraft carrier either.
I'm plumb sorry over there. Well, yeah, but we tried to find. Looky there. Well, that's Steve Nealon. I thought that was Russ. I'm not used to Steve Nealon being.
Hey, man, him and I don't look nothing alike.
Well, I
He's
just
a lot skinnier than me. He's got a mustache.
okay.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna go. We can end the pattern portion of this if y'all want to still talk. We can, but or we can wait 3 more minutes and be right at 3 hours. So that was just one sheet of paper. Now imagine doing that times 6. That's why some of my patterns takes dang long, and that's why I don't give them away. Nothing personal.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll see y'all, folks.
All right, much obliged.
Have a good one, Russ.
Y'all be good stuff. All right, we got we're gonna waste time for about 2.5 minutes or something like that. But I appreciate everybody that took the time to drop by, and for Steve Nealon for filling in for being on the panel and reading that stuff. I got so that gives you an idea. Thank you. That gives you an idea of the crap that I go through. Well, I'd say crap. Come on now, it's fun to do. The steps I go through to make a pattern. So some look better than others. Some need a little more. Some need a little more TLC than others. But y'all get an idea of what it will look like.
Now that upper left corner is just leaves and trees, right?
Yeah, that's let me show you. I probably should have done that before everybody left. The only sheets of paper left to do is it just has one corner of the roof on it. Well, let me get that camera moved. The upper left corner is going to be that. The far right side will be that and that. So,
I didn't even see. That's the thing. I didn't even know there was some of the roof missing. You hadn't drawn that part of the roof yet?
No, it's because it's on that sheet of paper. But these have so many dang trees, y'all be bored out of your hind parts watching that. But now you remember where that corner is. I'll show you on the pattern here. Share screens.
How about we talk about your next pattern, Lucas McCain? Hello.
I don't know who Lucas McCain is, but yeah, the corner right here is what's missing.
Rifleman.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is the corner that's missing on that roof.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that the roof extended.
And those two little partial pieces I showed y'all are basically,
yeah, the cookhouse and
yeah, somewhere in here, but the length top and down. That's what's left. So that's why I moved this over, and we'll have that filled in with trees, and then the rest of that cabin, and it'll be a big old detailed piece of something or other.
yeah,
God,
that's good. It's looking real nice.
thank y'all. So that tells you Lucas McCain. I never even heard that name before. I've heard of Chuck Connors and the Rifleman, but not the name. Anyway,
Lucas McCain was the character name.
Yeah, I'm figuring that out now, but I didn't know that then. But anyway, so that's why I said almost 8 pages, is because technically it's 8 sheets of paper, but this one doesn't fill up the whole sheet of paper because I decided later to add this part to the picture. That's the next full sheet that has to be done, then these two, and then so when y'all see the finished pattern, that means that I've did 3 more sheets of paper and then touch-ups. By God.
So that pattern's what, like 24 by, close to 24 by 30.
Well, what there's 72 DPI in an inch.
Yeah, well, I just went by pages, and a page is 8.5 wide, so you got 8.5 times 3 is 25.5 plus half a page is
Oh,
another 4.
inches. Okay, I thought you were talking about feet like we did with the train that was 19 feet wide or something like this.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea what the actual file size will be until I get it from you. But
This one looks like it'll end up being about 8,500 pixels wide by 2702 tall. Wait,
10 feet.
5 by
10 feet wide.
5432. 10 feet wide?
72 pixels times 10 is 720 pixels.
Mercy sakes. Yeah, so it'll be 5432 tall and about 8,500 wide because I won't be using all this wide area over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did an actual size. I was sitting here showing y'all on the screen. I wasn't sharing screens anymore. Diddly. Well, I broke 3 hours, dagnabbit. I was supposed to stop right on the dot, but I never could do that no ways. I appreciate everybody took time to drop by. If y'all like pattern live streams, let me know. We can consider doing it in the future. But we tend to do the scrolling thing, and we're gonna let John in right as we're closing the show. Hello, Piggly Wiggly.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. Appreciate everybody dropping by. We'll catch you on the flip side, and we're gonna hang out and talk to John and find out what he's been screwing up all day. Well, we're sorry, John, we got done. And by God, we appreciate everybody. And I'll scroll